in your opinion, then it's almost as if you would think that almost every SaaS company should be an open source company. I mean, I can see that you would strongly believing that, right?
Uh,
Using it as a go to market strategy, but
I well, maybe it's a secret. Shh, don't tell them. um, I think more maybe is I don't like say every enterprise company should be every SaaS company should be a open source company. Everything that is an exaggeration, sometimes you end up digging yourself a hole and proving wrong. But I think there are many more enterprise companies, sorry, SaaS companies that would benefit from opening up their technology and getting more of an ecosystem, more of a collaboration from their own users into building that to and maybe becoming a standard and growing, creating a lot more value than they can imagine with that tool than they realize. And then sometimes you look some even some simple. And I think the proof for that is that sometimes there are some very simple, not so good open source project that become the standard for something just because they were the ones to open source, and sometimes become they end up becoming unicorns or like massive companies. And there were better alternatives, paid alternatives that didn't grow as fast because they were focused on trying to make everyone a paying customer and becoming a SaaS. Like WordPress, if you look at the code base on WordPress, if you even in the early days, that's that was not like a good example, if you would say, of a very thought through, good engineering and architecture and so on. But it was the open thing out there. It was the people could use for free, and it was engagement and caused the community and end up getting to the size it is. But there was definitely like better proprietary alternatives. But I think on the long term, the advantage of making creating this ecosystem around your product outweighs the short term costs of leaving some money on the table. So it really depends if you come to terms with the fact that you can create a lot more value that you can collect, that you can capture.
yeah,
I
I
think a
mean, I
few.
think Automatic is a great example. Another great example that isn't open source, but creates a big ecosystem around itself and doesn't have the best product is Salesforce. It's Salesforce sucks. I don't know anyone that says, "Oh, it's a delightful, gorgeous software experience." Usually as companies evolve, you get to this point where like everyone needs to kind of buy it. So it's a great stock to own because this is a typical thing. I don't see a good startup saying, "Oh yeah, we're investing in Microsoft Dynamics or we're going to buy the Oracle CRM." No, everyone buys Salesforce, but then it's so complex. You need to hire an ISV to implement it, and then like within the company, you have the Salesforce sheriff, who's gonna make all these decisions towards like what are you going to put within that installation, and then in the end, oftentimes these Salesforce installations they look like a horrible looking Christmas tree that has all these weird integrations with all the shit that you've been buying for your sales team, and it's a clunky, complex thing. But there isn't an alternative out there, and it's because they've built this partnership ecosystem with Apex, their proprietary language. So I think Salesforce is a closed source example of
Yeah,
the same premise that you're talking about. And you know, anyway.
there was always a benchmark when I was creating Connecti. Salesforce was obviously the benchmark on how to create an ecosystem or a language that would allow you to uh, uh, customize or create custom functionality on the top of a product. So I'm a believer that the end goal, uh, better than creating just a solution, is to create a platform. Then other people can create different solutions on top, and that's what RocketChat is the target is much more to create the platform for people. There's so many different problems to solve with communication. Slightly different use cases, different ways to organize the people that are talking and who is talking to who and how the channel works. And we have customers that are running online events. It's a completely different flow of who can talk to who and where and how they can reach each other. Then we have customers running servers for first responders on in US, like the Department of Homeland Security, and having police departments and fire departments and then different municipalities working together, and then they have a rocket chat so they can talk. It's a totally different flow of information and channels. And we rocket chat as a company would never be able to think about all those different verticals of what is the flow and how they work and what is the rules, who can talk to who. And but if we build a good platform that is flexible enough that people can build all those use cases for communication on top of it, we can be the platform. We can charge for the engine, for the scalability, for all these other things on that is on the lower layer. Then people can build a very efficient tool for different problems. That's why I love the platform building stuff, and that's I think is the end game for us.